Hello, this is Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary Rules Editor. And today we're presenting the 7th in our series of media videos, and we're going to focus on game action from the weekend of October 24. Now, before we get into our plays, a quick update on targeting so far this year. Now, remember, this is a player safety rule, and we're all focused and working to eliminate the technique of a player attacking an opponent with his head or the helmet. So where are we? So through 215 games, we've had 74 targeting fouls enforced, and 30 of those were initiated through replay. Now that's just a little more than 0.3 targeting fouls per game, and compared to last year of 0.2 targeting fouls per game, this is something we're going to continue to watch. It's not a trend yet, as we've only played about a quarter of the number of games of last year, but it's something that we must monitor. So with that, let's get straight on into our plays. Our first play this week is a long pass down the boundary for a touchdown, and you're going to see our Hatless side judge coming in signaling touchdown. So what is the significance of our official having the hat off? What does it mean? So the bottom line, when an official throws his hat at the sidelines, it means that that official is acknowledging that the receiver went out of bounds, and that official knows why that receiver's out of bounds. So by rule, if an eligible receiver goes out of bounds and returns in bounds, he can't be the first to touch a pass. That would be illegal touching and loss of down at the previous spot. But there's an exception, is if the receiver immediately returns in bounds after contact with an opponent, then he's okay, he's eligible to touch the ball. So this hat down shows, and we can see from the high 22 camera, that the receiver was forced out of bounds. He did come back in and establish, caught the ball for a touchdown. Good play by the receiver. Play 2 is a big play in the game. It's a 4th and 1 situation, and you're going to see the middle linebacker, number 35 for the defense. He's going to step up, fill the gap, and make a big play on the runner. And we get a tight spot close to the first down. Ultimately, after measurement, it's going to be a first down. But we're going to focus on 35 here, as he seems to stumble after the play, and that's going to get the side judge's attention. And then after he kind of stumbles again, the side judge is going to immediately stop the game for an injury timeout. And then the trainers and docs are going to come out and evaluate the player. But the officials now have a role in this process. The rule book has 2 pages dedicated to recognizing signs and symptoms of a concussion, and we take injuries very seriously as officials. No longer do we just allow the player to shake it off and continue on. And the officials are really third in the lineup. The players and their teammates are really first to identify anything. The doctors and the trainers on the sideline are second, the officials third. And then if there's a medical observer, that's kind of the 4th level of defense. But everybody does a good job here. Officials identify it, stop the game. The trainers and doctors remove the player from the game, and then ultimately he can't come back until he's cleared by the doctors. And we're going to see number 35, he's going to head to the locker room for further observation. So really good job by everybody here. Play 3 is a long pass down the near boundary, and we're going to see 0 for the defense. He's going to get called for defensive pass interference. Actually, the receiver is going to fall down. But 0 is going to continue on, and he's going to intercept the ball, and as the momentum carries him into the end zone, and he's going to fall down there. Now, this is an interesting play by rule, because we all know if you carry the ball into your own end zone and it's down there, it's a safety. But we have the momentum exception to the safety rule that allows, if a player intercepts a ball between his 5-yard line and the goal line, and his original momentum carries him into the end zone and he's down there, then it's not a safety. They get the ball at the spot of the interception. However, if you go back and look at this ball is intercepted. His foot's on the 10, ball may be right at the 9, but then his momentum carries him in and he's down. And the momentum exception rule, because he's outside the 5, does not apply. So the results of the play is a safety. And so now the offensive coach has to decide, hey, do we want to take the safety, get 2 points, and have the opponent's free kick from the 20, or do we want a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, enforce the defensive pass interference, and it will still be our ball on this drive? Ultimately, that's what the coach chose, but an interesting play here to make a decision on. Play 4 is going to be a field goal attempt in overtime. And some plays are just more interesting to watch than others. And so what we're going to see here is this field goal attempt is going to hit the upright, bounce off the crossbar, hit the other upright, hit the crossbar again, and then fall back in the field of play. You're going to see the back judge signal no good. The back judge has responsibility for that crossbar. So this is a correct call. Now, we know by rule each goal is out of bounds, and we know the ball is dead when it's out of bounds other than a kick that scores a field goal after touching the uprights or crossbar. And by rule, to score a field goal, the ball must pass over the crossbar and between the uprights. And it's not treated as a plane. So if the ball breaks the plane and gets blown back into the field of play, it is not good. It must pass over the crossbar to be a successful field goal. Play 5, we're going to look at a kickoff here. And by rule, the kicking team must have at least 4 players on either side of the kicker when the ball's kicked. And it's close here, but you can see this guy looping around. He stays on the top side of the kicker. So the formation is legal, a legal play here. And this rule was really enacted for player safety in onside kick situations where teams would load up one side of the field and create dangerous collisions with the receiving team. And another point of note on this play, TV highlighted this Big Ten crew that was assigned as an all African-American crew and also included a female official. And this was the first time for the Big Ten to assign an all minority crew. And they did a really great job, including replay. The crew handled the game well, all well done. Play 6 is a kickoff, and the receiving team is just going to let the ball go into the end zone for a touchback, and the kick hits inside the 1, and then it's going to back up and stay in the field of play. And so number 1 is going to make a heads-up play. He's going to go out of bounds and then reach back in and touch the ball. And so now the ball is considered out of bounds because an out-of-bounds player has touched it. So ultimately, this becomes a kick out of bounds. You see the flag come in from our headline judge. And so the receivers now will put the ball in play at the inbound spot at the 35-yard line. So this is a receiving team player that knows the rules completely, his situation completely, and handles it in a very smart way. Play 7 is another kickoff play, and the receiver is going to give a fair catch signal, and then he's going to muff the kick right about the 5, and then he recovers it at the 10. And the play is blown dead immediately after the receiver secures possession. And we know by rule, if he completes a fair catch behind the 25-yard line, then the ball will belong to his team at the 25. But if he does not complete the fair catch, and he did not here, then the ball simply belongs to the receiving team where they recover. Now remember, this fair catch opportunity was put in as a player safety rule to give the receivers another option on sky kicks, but they must execute the fair catch in order to take advantage of the rule. Our final play this week, we're going to see the quarterback rolls out and he's going to throw on the run. And we get a big hit to the receiver by number 13 on the defense. And we get a call on the field for targeting. And this happens, it's very high, fast, and we support the call on the field. But all of these are going to go to replay. And as replay walks through their steps, their process, first thing we have to determine, is the receiver a defenseless player? And the rule states that a defenseless player is one who, because of his physical position and focus of concentration, is especially vulnerable to injury, and when in question, he's defenseless. So even though this receiver has made the catch and is transitioning into a runner, we would still consider him to be defenseless because he can't defend himself. But you're going to see 13, he leads with his shoulder, he gets his head out of the way, he does make forcible contact, but it's into the shoulder of the defenseless player. So this is an excellent overturn of targeting by replay. And so really a good job of how we want the defender to play this, and is handled properly by our crew on the field and by replay. Good job. Well, that's it for our plays this week, and we appreciate your time invested in watching this video. And as this pandemic carries on, we continue to work with our officials to mask up at every opportunity, work on social distancing in order to protect themselves, the student athletes, and the coaches as well. So best of luck to you this week. Safe travels and stay healthy.